Hey guys, so welcome back to another video here on Wild North Outdoors. Today we're going to be talking about the best calibers for black bear hunting. So I got a whole plethora of calibers here from small to big. I do have a space here because I'm missing quite a few of the 30 caliber magnums. All of these cartridges here will take bears. I got the absolute minimum here, and I got some absolute thumpers here on the end. So depending on the type of bear hunting you're doing, some people hunt them over baits, some like spot and stock. So these are all different choices for the different kinds of bear hunting you're going to be doing. A lot of people ask the question of what caliber to use when hunting bears. It's a lot different than deer, moose, and elk, but the same calibers will do the same job. So we're going to start off here with the 25-06. It's a fairly small caliber. It's fast, it's flat shooting. It's probably the absolute minimum I would go with. Some people like to shoot the 243. In my opinion, it's a bit too small. Same with the 25-06, but it will get the job done with a good broadside double long shot. But you're going to need to be prepared to track. Bears are notoriously hard to blood trail, and they will climb themselves into the thickest, nastiest stuff. So not my first choice, but if you're out deer hunting and you're comfortable shooting this caliber, you can absolutely take a bear with it. So next off here, we're going to go to a bit of a craze right now, the 6.5 Creedmoor. It's fast, it's flat, it's shooting a fairly sized bullet at 143 grains. It will absolutely take bears. You're going to want to take a nice broadside double long shot. You're probably not going to want to clip bone at long ranges. So if you're out spot and stalking, sure, this is a good caliber, but you're going to want to be within 100 to 250 yards, and you're going to want to punch one right behind the shoulder, because this will break a shoulder, but it will not pass clean through. If you hit that front shoulder, it will go through, you'll hit vitals, but you won't get a double shoulder break. So you can take bears with this caliber, and if you're out hunting with it, sure, go for it, but it's not my first choice. Next, we're going to step it up a bit here with the 270 Winchester. So these are 145 grain ELDXs. It's a fast shooting bullet, almost 3,000 feet per second, as the other two calibers we just talked about here. So it will take a bear. It's good for new shooters, light recoil, same as the other two cartridges we're talking about. So if you're comfortable shooting a 270 Winchester, you can absolutely use it on bears. It's going to have a bit more punch than the 6.5, just a bit, so you can take that shoulder shot if need be, or frontal. They're not ideal. Again, you're going to want a nice broadside shot with this caliber, but it is good and you can use it. Next, we're going to get into the short mag. So I have a 270 short mag here. Any of the short mags will take a bear if you're not recoil sensitive. They are known to have quite a kick to them, and that can hamper some hunters. So if the 270 short mag or the 300 short mag or the 325 short mag, if that's what you're into shooting, by all means you can use it to take a bear. This will have enough velocity to thump a bear pretty good. You could take a frontal shot, you could take a shoulder shot. It probably won't pass clean through, but it will do enough damage once it does get through to stop a bear, and you can drop a bear with one of these right in its tracks. So that's what we're looking for, is always put them down right where they're standing. So yeah, 270 Winchester or any of the short mags will absolutely do the trick. Next, we're going to get into one of my favorites here, 7mm Remington Magnum. In my opinion, it's a great all-around caliber. The recoil is fairly moderate. You can get 175 grain bullets. Here's a hand load of mine. I shoot 175 grain nozzle partitions. It's always done the trick for me. You can take a double shoulder shot, it'll break both shoulders, the barrel will go down within 5 or 10 yards. If not, it'll drop them right on the spot. So this is a great choice. It doesn't matter if you're hunting over bait or spot and stock. You can stretch this out 300, 400, 500 yards and it will absolutely take a bear, no problem. So one of my favorites. We'll put it off here to the side and we'll talk about it in a bit. Next, we're going to get into a bit of an old one here, the 30-30 Winchester. So this is an old school cartridge. It's shooting big heavy bullets, not very fast. So if you're in thick brush, you're tracking, anything like that, it's a great caliber to have. You're not going to be able to pull any long shots with it, so I would recommend this over bait, or if you're walking through thick brush, you know, anywhere from 50 to 150 yards is about as far as I would want to take a shot at a bear with a 30-30. So you can get higher grain bullets, you know, 180s all the way up to 220. So if you're into shooting big bullets, 30-30 is a good way to go, and will absolutely do the trick. Next, we're going to get into fairly old caliber. Everybody loves it, the 30-06. So with the 30-06, you kind of got a lot of different options. You can load this light, you can load it heavy, anything you want, but it's not a particularly fast caliber, and it's not particularly flat shooting. So any long range stuff, it wouldn't be my first choice, but if you're comfortable shooting the gun anywhere from 100 to 250 yards, this will get the job done. It's got moderate recoil, completely manageable. You know, I would recommend using a 180 grain bullet out of it. You know, you could take a double shoulder shot or a frontal shot. Any scenario, it will do the job. And next we're going to get into some big ones here. So these are two great big calibers. First we're going to get off with the 45-70. So with the 45-70, your range is limited. It's not a fast shooter. You know, you're shooting a very big bullet. Here's a 325 grain Hornady bullet. It's moving about 2,200 feet per second at the muzzle, and that's going to drop off quickly. So it's not a particularly flat shooting cartridge. So any long range shots, I would not recommend using this. But if you are hunting over bait, it would be a great cartridge, because you know you're shooting 50 to maybe 75 yards depending on your bait setup, and it will stop a bear right in its tracks. You know, you don't have to worry about hitting ball, and as long as you hit in the front third, the bear is going to go down. It's a very hard hitting caliber. Same if you're walking through brush, you know, it's not going to get deflected. It will stay true. So any close range applications, if you're out walking, maybe you're a little bit worried, 45-70 will get the job done. And next we're going to go into another one. It's a fairly new cartridge in the last 10 years. It's the 375 Ruger. So you can get anywhere from 270 grain bullets all the way up to, I believe, 350s for this. And pretty well what it is a beefed up 375 H&H. So it's got a standard length of pull, so you're in regular action. It's a big bullet. It's moving about 2,700 feet per second, 28, 29, right in that area depending on the bullets you're using. And it's hitting with a ton of force. I was fortunate enough to take a bear this spring with my new 375 here. Hit it right behind the shoulder, passed clean through, of course, made a great exit hole. Bear only went 50 yards and piled up. So it's a great choice, but it does have ridiculous recoil, and that's going to hamper a lot of guys. So if you're looking to go buy a new caliber just for bear hunting, particularly black bears, I would say to not go with this. But if you're walking in grizzly country or anything like that, and you know you might bump into a grizzly, you know you might get charged, this will put them down. It's a good caliber to have. You know, same in the fall. If you're looking for moose or elk, you stumble across a bear, it'll take a black bear easy enough. If you get charged by a grizzly, it'll put it down. So it's a good cartridge to have, but it wouldn't be my choice for a new hunter. So now what we're going to do is we're going to talk about some of my favorite choices, and ones I know lots about. So we're going to go back to the 7mm Remington Magnum. If you're a new hunter looking for a caliber to choose, you want something that's versatile all around. You know, you want to go bear hunting, but at the same time, you don't want something that's going to be overkill on a deer, but will still take a moose or an elk. 7mm Remington Magnum would be absolutely perfect choice. It's a flat shooter. It's fairly fast. You can get anywhere from 120 grain bullets all the way up to 175. So you have a wide array of bullets that you can pick from. If you pair it with a high quality bullet like this Nosler partition, you will get clean pass-throughs, not a ton of bloodshot meat, and you're not going to have to track. It's also a very good long-range caliber. A couple of years back, one of my friends, he used my 7mm Remington Magnum. He took a bear out in an oat field at about 300, maybe 400 yards, and it put her down right in her tracks. Didn't move. So it's a great choice. You know, we had a clean pass through, and that was with the 175 grain Nosler partition. I've personally shot, I think, 3 bears now with the 7mm Remington Magnum, and I've only had one make it out of eyesight. So it's good caliber to choose. When shooting a bear with one of these, I would recommend the double shoulder shot. I think it is the best shot. You know, you'll break both front shoulders, you'll double lung. That bear's not going to go far, and that's what we want. Another great choice for an all-around caliber, 270 Winchester. So if you're a new shooter, you're worried about recoil, you're not used to shooting, go to the 270 Winchester. It's got light recoil, and you can pretty well take any big game in North America with it, except for a grizzly bear. So when bear hunting, you can absolutely use this cartridge. You know, it's a flat shooter, it's fast. You can get anywhere from 120 grains all the way up to 150, and I do believe if you hand load that Berger is now making 180 grain bullets for it, which I wouldn't recommend because it's a little heavy for the cartridge. But it's fast, it's flat, it hits hard. You know, I've had many friends that have shot these religiously, and they love it. It absolutely works. Would be a great choice to pick up for bear hunting. So a lot of you are probably watching thinking I glossed over all the 30 magnums, you know, the 30 caliber magnums, the 300 Win Mag, the 300 Weatherby, the 300 Short Mag, any of those. Great choices depending on what you're doing. You know, the 300 Win Mag, it's very similar to the 7mm Rem Mag. You know, it's moving a little bit faster, it's hitting a little bit harder. You don't have the bullet selection that you do with a 7mm Remington Magnum. You can only go from 180s all the way up to 220. So if you're into heavier bullets, it's a great choice. I've taken bears with 300 Win Mag. It works great, and as an all-around caliber, would be a great pickup for bear hunting or anything really. It's a great choice. Recoil can be a little stiff, especially for new shooters, so there is that to keep in mind. Same with the 300 Weatherby. It's got a mean kick to it. But it'll do the job. It's fast, it's flat, you know, and it'll stretch out there far. You know, it's a great long range caliber, and for bear hunting, it's a great choice. For a brand new hunter or a brand new shooter, it wouldn't be my first choice, but you could absolutely go towards that if you're not worried about the recoil. So we've touched on pretty much everything I want to touch on. If you're not sure what caliber to use, you have a caliber that I didn't talk about, and you're wondering if it'll take bears, leave me a comment. You know, I'll get back to you. I'm not the absolute authority, but I feel like I've done enough hunting and enough bear hunting to know what calibers to use and in what situations they're best for. So that's pretty well it. You know, shoot straight. Hopefully you guys all have a great bear season. We'll see you on the next one.